On this week's podcast, we ask if Hollywood can fix making video games movies after Borderlands. Should they chase the family market or give up entirely? And on this week's Pixel Picks Showdown, we go back to the best Xbox and crown the greatest 360 game. All this and more on the Pixel Parent Podcast. Hello and welcome to the next episode of the Pixel Parents Podcast, the show that discusses all things gaming from the perspective of parents. I am your host Liam Kelvin, and today I am of course joined by Scott, the tastemaker, the bearded one, Curry. How are we, Scott?
I'm very well. Very well.
I had to get the beard in there just to let people know you're still hairy.
Still hairy all over. I am alright. It's I've had a tiring day. Childcare because school hasn't started yet, so
kicks your ass.
it does. And you know, it gets to that point where you're just ready for school. You know, they're ready, but you're ready. And we went to see Despicable Me 4 for the third time.
Oh my goodness!
Seen it first with me and her mum. Saw it second time with her mum and her cousins, and then she wanted to go and see it again today. So I've seen that movie twice, and it's twice more than I wanted to.
Yeah,
because it's not the best one. Despicable Me 3 is a considerably better movie.
I would agree.
I
took the kids to see it on Sunday, and I actually checked my watch halfway through, which I never do. And I was like, God, hurry up and end. And then, of course, you're like, right, I might as well just make the most of it and watch it. Right at the end, and my son's like, I need the toilet, so I sat through all that for nothing. I was like, okay, no worries.
I don't wonder he wanted to watch it anyway.
I know.
All the minions died.
Oh, good.
They all died.
They won't kill that cash cow.
That was the sacrifice they made. They are the Iron Man of the Despicable Me universe.
That's right.
That's it. But apart from that, pretty well. Just living the dream, you know. I feel like I always come across like I've had the best day ever. Every single time you ask me, like, I'm fantastic, you know.
Yeah.
Absolutely riding waves, but I'm not. I'm tired, and I'm just tired.
That's it. That's the life, though.
That's life, innit?
Parent life.
That's how it chooses us.
You know what I mean? You're always tired.
She woke up at 2 last night. Just 2 a.m, came through to our room. Right, like I want to get up. Like, well, you can get up. Like, on you go.
Yeah.
But she gets into the bed and stuff, and my wife's like, right, I'll just get up. I better just get ready for like work. Now she's back. And I was like, you do realise the time? Like, it is not 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. We're talking about 2 here.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I'm not staying in this bed. I actually went and slept on her bed. Like, I just went through to her room and went to sleep. But that's it's just that once you start a day like that, it's all downhill from there.
Yeah, it's just
call it off, man.
Broken sleeps, and you think you'd be used to it by now, but it never gets easier.
It doesn't ever get easier.
Always pisses you off. I know. I've got myself in a really bad habit the past few nights. So obviously, being a man in mid-30s, I'll have a clockwork nighttime pee, but now that clock is going off at like 5 to 5 in the morning, and that, you know what it's like, if you make the wrong creak at the wrong time, and I'm going down these stairs like Solid Snake just to make sure I'm not making absolutely any type of creak, and I'm getting up there, and then because of that my heart's racing because I'm like, I've made it, and then I'm just up for like half an hour, and then it takes me just to get back to sleep. But then by that point the kids are probably going to get up anyway between 5:30 and 6. But
it's a nightmare.
It never gets easier.
Nah.
Never gets easier.
So I said the other day, it's not happening tomorrow. Like, if you wake up, you're by yourself. You can entertain yourself, because
now you can use the "you're up anyway" for work line. Because school is no longer out.
It's in. School's in for not summer now.
Yeah, so happy. Honestly, it's been great having them about the place, but also I'm like, because as we both work from home, and it does just kind of start to encroach on your little private routine of working at home, you know what I mean? Not that they've done much, but it's just like I tend to work in other spots around the house if I'm just by myself. With the kids, I actually bought a latch for my door this year so I can walk up the stairs in peace.
You need
Just
it. You do need it. That's one of the hardest parts about, the summer holidays is if you are working from home, because I honestly believe that my whole family, my wife, the daughter, my mum, my wife, my mother-in-law, everyone in the family thinks that because I'm home, I'm free.
Aye.
And that's it. Like, you're home now, so you're available 100%, and having to put the foot down and be like, look, I'm not. Like, I'm really not. So
I'm on the clock.
And like chapping the door, can you talk? It's like, no. it's like, no.
Well, if I want to be sacked, I can talk.
Aye, that's it. Aye.
It's one of those ones. Aye, but as for myself, like I says, I'm pretty happy with I've reached the end of the summer. To be fair, it's gone pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm just glad to be back chatting video games with your fine self.
And you're breathing normally.
Yes.
Not dying again.
Yes.
You look better. Like,
Thank you. I feel better.
Aye.
I feel better. Like last week was a lot. Actually, I went back and listened to the start of that podcast. And I'm like,
funny.
Good God, man.
So
like,
funny.
I felt like Darth Vader's Return of the Jedi. Just
it's like you were like, it
was so bad. So yes, I'm back. I'm feeling better, and yeah, I'm thankful that everybody joined me in my journey to recovery last week. It won't be like that this week. But before we get into it, let's just get some housekeeping out of the road. So for those listening, this is the Pixel Parents Podcast, which is the weekly podcast by parents who game for those who do the same, where each week we discuss all things gaming while raising little ones. And if you want to be part of the podcast, come say hello to us, share your thoughts with us at pixel_parents on Twitter, or write to us at pixelparentspodcast@gmail.com. And if you like what you hear and want to support the show, you can leave a 5-star review and share this podcast online with your friends. Of course, everything you do really helps us out. And of course, thank you to everybody that joins us each and every week. So with that out of the way, Scott, what have you been playing this week?
I have been a busy man.
A busy bee.
A busy man. But not in the sort of same way that I was a few weeks ago, where I played about 15 games in 1 week.
Yeah. Herculean effort, my God.
It's just the lengths that I go to for content, I bleed for this. But I made it my goal this week to finish Unicorn Overlord, and I'm happy to say that last night was the final trophy.
Yes.
Dunked it in, and it's there's nothing better when you get a platinum trophy on a game on the last thing you do.
Yeah.
Like, not you have to go back and do something else. It's the last thing you do is just, there's a final fight and it just pops and it's great. So that happened last night. I stayed up, like, I probably woke the wee one up actually, because I went to bed that late, but it was fantastic.
Yeah.
I was ready for it to finish because the gameplay loop doesn't change. You just get a little better each time. Your character's growing, and it's like Pokemon at that point. Like they're just getting better. But finished that and thought about what I'm going to play next. So what's it going to be? And I've been toying with it for a while, and obviously I bought it. Can't remember the name of it though. It's the Prince of Persia game, the most recent one, the Lost Crown. Aye,
what a game!
I started it. I've played about an hour of it since buying it. I don't know how I feel about it yet. It obviously will get better because
Give it time.
You're limited in terms of what you can do initially, and I think I've just got the bow and arrow.
All right, you're just still quite early.
So I'm still there, but I'm playing it on not the mode, but it tells you where to go. You kind of fart your way around the map and just figure things out. So I'm playing it on that mode, and it's fun. Like, I like, I'm enjoying making my way through it and trying to figure out things to do. But there's just that a lot, and it'll obviously come with the different abilities and stuff that you get. But it still feels like it's not quite as tight as I want it to be. And I'm sure that will change in like a few hours. It will change, but from what I've played so far, it's cool. I like it.
I mean, you'll quickly get yourself into a flow state, as with all these type of like Metroidvania type games. Once they start to they're peppering in all these different abilities, and before you know it, like you're just joining them together. And then it's when you get to those boss fights at that point, you're like, this is really something special. and it has no right being that good. If I'm being frank, you know, in this day and age, I would expect like a Prince of Persia spin-off of sorts to, and I don't know if it's fair to call it a spin-off, but it felt like something that just wasn't like mainline or putting all the weight behind this Sands of Time remake that's still on the way. But yeah, it's still top of my list so far for Game of the Year. But
was that this year?
January.
Cool.
It comforted me in those cold winter months. You know,
it's I'll give you my verdict in a few weeks' time, but from what I've played so far, it's not kind of game where, you know, I find myself turning it off and I don't want to go back. It's got me that way. It's kind of like when I played Blasphemous and when I played like Guacamelee and stuff like that in the past, where I've got the bug. So we'll see how long it lasts. And that I got that on the Xbox. I was going to buy it for the Switch, but I find it really annoying to kind of handle things on the Switch, and playing it on the big telly's nice.
Exactly. It looks gorgeous as well.
Yeah, it is. It is. Apart from that, though, I made a tweet about it a few weeks back, but after having a conversation many moons ago with yourself and Fine Alex, it was mentioned that you'd both played Super Mario Wonder.
Yes.
So I bought that.
Lovely.
In fact, I took advantage of they have this deal on the Nintendo Switch where you can buy 2 games, or you buy like an £85 voucher and you could buy 2 like fairly new games.
Right, okay.
So I bought that, and I bought Fire Emblem The Three Houses or something like that, because now I'm big on Fire Emblem games, you know. That'll just sit and rot on my Switch. But I thought, you know, £85 for both those games, that's pretty decent. Like,
good, it's it would normally be about £120 maybe.
Maybe if you've got a good deal on it, but I thought I might as well just take advantage of it, and you get like a few months off of a Switch Online membership as well. So I thought I'll take the plunge on that, and I honestly bought it for the Wii one. Like, I had no real intentions of playing it myself until I played it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm into this, man. Like, I've been able to play.
That's good.
Just being able to see Luigi do things, I'm just like, like not Luigi's Mansion, just Luigi's wee daft face.
Yeah.
And loads of wee bit of personality in that game. It just oozes. It oozes personality. But obviously the main reason we bought it was for, you know, to play it with the wee one, and she's loving it. She finished the first level with Yoshi the first night we got it, and it was like, this is cool. Like, seeing her actually navigate it, and I think it's good the way that obviously when Yoshi jumps, if you hold the button in, you can kind of move him a wee bit. So she finds it easier if she's holding it in. She doesn't have the dexterity to press the A button and then move it. It's if she's holding the A button, she finds it easier to move the control stick. But she was playing on the Pro Controller for the longest time, so I was just letting her do the levels by herself, and then I was like, I can actually play this with you. So I took the Pro Controller and gave her the wee Joy-Con, and it's made it 100 times easier for her. So she's absolutely loving that, and it's become like routine now, where she's like, Mummy, we're going up to play Mario. Like, you can do your own thing. So it's quite nice because it gives us something to look forward to. Being a girl dad is great, but you know, you're number 2 in that house, de facto number 2, because mum's there. Like, so actually being able to spend a bit of time with her and have something that we both enjoy that mum, God bless her heart, doesn't, you know, so she doesn't have to join in, and it also gives her a bit of peace as well, because it's full on, you know.
Everyone wins.
Like if you know the wee one falls and hurts herself, it's not Daddy, it's always Mummy, even if like Mummy's not there, she's shouting on Mummy. So everyone does win, and it's good fun. Like, I'm loving it as well. It helps that the game's interesting and fun as well. So I'm enjoying that.
Yeah, it's so well made, and it is. I'm so glad that it's like clicked and it's working, and the wee one's enjoying it, because it just goes to show how well designed it is that they can pick it up and play it. My son's still been playing that this week, as well as still navigating Pokemon, which we're getting into a groove. We did attempt the first gym, because I thought I'm not going to do the grind. We'll just chance it, because usually it's fine.
Yeah.
And they've got this new feature in it. I think it's like terrestrializing or something it's called, and it basically covers them like glass and ups their powers. And we got through the first 2, In the third one, they used this ability, and it was one shot in the whole party, and the devastation on my son's face. I'm like, welcome to Pokemon, wee man.
Absolutely crushed.
We're gonna have to go back to the grind. But he keeps calling it the new Pikachu game, and I'm like, I don't know where you're getting this from. There's no Pikachu.
He's got insider information.
Yeah. Well,
his uncle works at Nintendo.
Well, we've got the Pichu caught.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to train that up so that he's just got a Pikachu there, because that's kind of what you want. And it's good that the game gives you that opportunity at the start.
Yeah.
They know exactly what they're trying to do. I will say though, if you are looking to play it with the wee one, don't do what I did and just kind of go through it from the very start. There is so much text to get through.
Aye.
Like, and it is obscene.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to the point where even I actually took a headache the other day when I was playing it with them, and I actually had to, I was like, look, Dad's going to have to turn this off now, and I had to turn it off and go away. And I felt bad, but I was like, it was actually giving me like tension headaches. I was getting so frustrated.
It's the worst.
Yeah, but that's pretty good. We love to hear it on the show.
It's good, isn't it? Like, it's nice to be able to do it, and having something that you can enjoy with them is a big part of it. But that's basically me. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I've missed, but I don't really think so. I did, after you text me the other night as well, you were playing Battlefield. I tried to play that for one round last night.
Mm-hmm.
I played 124 player Conquest.
Oh, dear God.
And I killed one person, and then I died. And I was like, this is enough Battlefield for me. I've had my fill with this. Was there anything else? I don't think so. I think that's me. I keep on wanting to go back to Kinitsugami, but see, now that I've stepped away from it, I'm like, it's hard to get back into the groove with it. So maybe it's something that on a day that, you know, Prince of Persia is annoying me, I'll maybe go back and play it. But apart from that, nothing else. I'm in the market for something on the PlayStation. And
yeah, well, I think we're going to get something soon. I mean, for me this week, it's been a pretty chill week. Although I'm in the wilderness. I feel like I've been in this holding mood for ages, because I know Star Wars Outlaws is top of the list, and I'm going to play that to death. But then I'm like, right, what do I really want to do? And off of last week, I've kind of taken a notion of almost being slightly obsessed with revisiting dead games, even if the word dead has to kind of bend a little bit, and that's what led me to Battlefield. I went down, I was influenced, Scott. I was scrolling TikTok, and there was this Battlefield like content creator, and some of the stuff that we're doing, they made the game look fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, all right, well, maybe I'll give it a go. So I made use of Game Pass and downloaded it, and probably played a few rounds of it. And yeah, it's just still not my jam.
It's tough going, man.
The time to kill on it is a friggin' nightmare still. The poor visibility, I will never get over it with Battlefield. There's sometimes like people are killing you, and I'm like, where the hell are you? And nothing really feels consistent with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, get good, skill issue, but this is the big difference. So I got frustrated with that, and then I booted up Modern Warfare 3 again, because I thought, I'm just going to go back to that, because I was really in the mood just for a shooter, just some mindless point and shooter things. And that game, you can just pick up and play.
Yeah.
I know, yes, of course, there's a skill issue with that for some people, but I still believe if you just want to put a couple of hours into that, you get into the flow of it, and it's almost rhythmical, Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And I was like, even at the worst round that I'd be playing on that, I was still like, right, at least I can get 20 kills or something, and I'm feeling okay. You know what I mean?
Jesus Christ, FaZe Clan over here.
I know.
We're having a terrible game. I just drop a 20 kill game. You know what I mean?
It's just because you just kill, respawn,
I know what you
back
mean.
In, back out. Whereas Battlefield, it's all this faff with like revive me, or then just hold down A, respawn, pick your location, and it's not that type of. I know if you're wanting something that's not like Twitch-based shooter, as they say, then it caters to them, but it still was like, well, that's the first dead game off the list for me this week. And obviously, once I got the itch out my system in Modern Warfare, because I was like, I don't have the time to start getting obsessed about this again, particularly if Black Ops 6 is on the horizon. I've had my fill until that comes out. But I've decided then to dip back into the Game Pass and look at a game which I never finished. Started it but never finished it. Admittedly, every time I played it, I fell asleep. I remember my daughter was just born and I was like still adjusting. But it was Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I was just really in the mood for like a third-person action adventure, something that I could just kind of sit back, switch my brain off.
Is that the third one in that?
Correct.
So was it Rise? And
Rise,
then
second.
What was the first one? Just Tomb Raider?
Tomb Raider. Yeah. So this was
like the stealthy one, wasn't it? It was like bow and arrows and forests and shit.
That's right. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
I never played it, but I saw enough about it.
Looks gorgeous. On Game Pass, you get the definitive edition, which adds costumes and stuff, I think, but it does look fantastic. And I remember getting it in PlayStation 4, never finished it. So I thought this is kind of scratching the itch that I'm really wanting just now. So I'm actually really looking forward to going back and playing it. I've just been chipping away at it. And it has made me wonder. I was like, it's a shame because that the reboot happened. It was also fantastic. Rise came out, which was infinitely a better game.
Was there not something wrong with it when it came out though?
No, it was an Xbox exclusive.
Well, that's what was wrong with it.
So it didn't come to PlayStation 4 till a few years after it.
Right, okay.
But they had the exclusivity deal, which kind of nerfed it at the time. Because I remember buying that on Xbox One, really enjoying it. It was like such a better game. And then Shadow, I think Eidos Montreal, the team had to move on to Avengers.
Good.
So
maybe you're just on that Ubisoft fix. Maybe it's just like a pub crawl, like a sub crawl of every old Ubisoft game that you've ever played.
I think so. I was tempted. I was hovering over
Assassin's Creed. Oh, Jesus Christ, that's the last thing you need, man.
And even a Far Cry 6 nearly jumped back into because I thought it's first person might do the job. But no, Shadow of the Tomb Raider is just what I want just now. So I've just been chipping away at that, which I think this will tide me over. And if I don't finish it this time, I can always pick it back up because I know we're only a couple of weeks away from Outlaws. And outside of that, I suppose time for a sad Marvel Snap update, of course.
Right.
Going of recurring.
Someone wake me up.
No, but just people will be interested. Right?
Someone's interested.
Last week, of course, I was saying how I wanted one card. I did some shameful things to get the card, a lot of grinding. Got the tokens, I got Marvel Boy, and so Zudek is back. I'm a Zudek enjoyer. And just been fulfilling my target and alliances. But the group is fair that I'm in. But what I'm finding is like you now have to really hit a requirement of 4,000 points a week. So I'm feeling a little bit bad for a couple of casual players that's in the group that might have to be asked to leave.
Right. But I get this. But is the requirement set in Snap or in the group?
In the group.
Right.
So it's an arbitrary requirement.
An estimation on how often or kind of regularity that you'd have to play it to get to 4,000?
I think if you were consistent and good with the gameplay and picked the right bounties, or you were winning a lot of games, you could probably do that an hour a day, I'd say. But realistically, you're probably talking maybe 2 hours a day, which is a lot collectively for the day.
Unreasonable.
It's not unreasonable, and I'm probably disgracing myself admitting
but
that
it
I
is
hit the target. But,
but you will, because you play it like 8 hours a day.
Yeah, always with me.
Open up your screen time app on your phone.
God, he's outing me. He's outing me live.
But it's
yeah, I've played it for 2.5 hours today, so it's
ridiculous.
But it's reset day, so
but it's just I get it, and you know what? It's I think we said it before. It's community. Like it creates community, but you hate to see that like driving people out just because they're not hitting arbitrary targets that some person has set.
Yeah, and the whole point is you need to hit like 125,000 points, and contribute to that through the amount of cubes that you win or the bounties, which could be like win with these 2 cards in your deck, get 100 points, that type of stuff. But it did make me think it's like there's another thing. If you're a casual player, a parent gamer, you don't really have too much time, particularly at the start. Even though Marvel Snap's a fantastic option for you, you might just not have the want to do it as well. Because I know if this was live when the kids were first born, I wouldn't be going near that. It's just not anything I'd want to do. So it does make me feel a bit, because it's like community and that's great. And I know you could just join a casual alliance, but it would be great if we could kind of make space within like a blend of the hardcore and casual, so everybody benefits.
Yeah.
Because
what is the benefit? Like,
it's like in-game currency and like card variants.
Right,
Okay.
okay.
The benefits aren't great, but
aye.
we're part of this giant collective now, so there's like 16 groups or something like that. So there's a lot of us there, but everybody in the group is fantastic and friendly.
I mean that. There's no doubt in that. It's
no
just
toxicity. The moderator's been fantastic. Like they've just really made sure that people are easing into the thing, and that stuff is appreciated, because it's like that's how the great moderators work.
that's how they work. Aye.
It's interesting because I mean it's definitely encouraged me to explore that community side of gaming a little bit more. I know like my brother-in-law, for example, has always been fantastic at that. Like just even back in the early days of Xbox Live, he would just muck in with a clan or whatnot, and I'm like, I'm too shy. I'm not saying anything to
What if they don't? What if they laugh at me?
Exactly. And it was different back then, because you might be encouraged to add someone that you didn't know because you had a good round in Halo or something with them.
Yeah. I mean, that's you.
That's me in a nutshell.
I'm usually getting hate mail.
You're the guy I'm encouraging to just take the warthog and I'll just throw a sticky in the back.
That's it. Aye, that's it. I'll do one for the team, or people just ask me to 1v1 them on Rust.
That's it. Somebody please take him up on his offer. The man's dying. But of course, this week as well, Scott, we both had a trip.
Oh God.
To the cinema.
Oh, cinema trip.
Where we endured the Borderlands movie. The things we do for content.
I don't think endure is the right word.
I'm going to say endure now.
Aye,
it wasn't. Kick things off. Out of 10 on the scale, what would you give it?
I think that night when I went home, I made a short roundup of it, and in my head it was like a 2. It's not a 1. It's not the worst movie that I've ever seen. It's not Hereafter with Matt Damon in it.
Oh Jesus Christ!
The
Happening,
the worst movie ever. But it's honestly like I'm not going to be the big Borderlands sympathizer, because that's really not my niche.
No.
I don't think I want to be known as the only person in the world that liked the Borderlands movie, but I didn't hate it. I've not, every single time or every single video that I've watched, it's people pure shitting on this movie, and it's fair enough to shit on it, but there's worse movies out there. Like,
well, that's it. I mean, if I was to give it a score, I'd give it a 4, which is subpar
on
our scale.
What's 2?
2?
Poo?
No, 2, I was going to say is outstanding. 2 is awful, and 1 is dug meat. So I mean, it avoids the dug meat.
It's not dug meat. It's
like you said, it's not bad. It's just nothing, which I found more frustrating.
Yeah.
At least bad, you can emote something towards it. But you're right. I feel a little bit bad in the sense that there is a lot of hyperbole about it online, as if like this is such an affront to my eyes and senses, and it's not the worst film or adaptation you've seen. Like you said, it's not Doom with The Rock. There's been much worse video game adaptations out there. The problem is it's just a bit of a fumble. Like they've just,
I don't know if it is. I really don't know if it is.
It's a fumble in the sense that, well, I'll make the case, right? I'll make the case and see if you agree or not. But we spoke about it afterwards. Like it felt like the studios obviously intervened or something, and they're chasing this Guardians of the Galaxy Marvel light trend. And obviously, it needed an edge. I was saying that to you afterwards. So it needed to be more crude, more violent. Something, the game's not particularly hyper violent. The film was originally shot to be an R-rated movie. So it did have like exploding heads, a scene with feet getting cut off and stuff like that. So it was originally pitched as that. And I think they've had to do rewrites. Tim Miller had to come in and do some reshoots as well. But I mean, because it's so meek and neutered in its vision, if you're out in the cinema just now, and let's face it, if you're like 12 years old or something, you're not going to see that. You're going to want to sneak in next door to see Deadpool and Wolverine, because it's at least got something a little bit more assaulting your senses in a different way. But it's like,
I'm also not the person to be talking about Deadpool and Wolverine, because it's a completely separate conversation. But
I've just been like in terms of like,
no, I know what you mean. It's
you're in the hall for the cinema. And that's what I found frustrating about it, because it's Could have been different.
The key point that the one thing, because I've thought a lot about it since we watched it, right, is that Borderlands is a game that was out in when? Over 10 years ago, at least.
Longer, it was like 2009.
Right, so this is what was the landscape of the world in 2009? Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're making a movie about that game now, of course it's going to be completely different. You know, it's not going to have the same level of humor because the humor in Borderlands was of its time, and it's very, you know, going back to it now, you're kind of like it hits in weird ways. You're kind of like maybe that's
Internet
a wee bit wrong. But it's just the wrong time for it. I think there's a space out there for a Borderlands movie, and I don't think that cut and paste. If you just told me this was a movie about anything else, I'd be like, all right, okay, that's just any other movie. I could have watched it and not had the Borderlands theme on it. Do you know what I mean? Jack Black could have played a talking fart, and it'd be like, that's funny, but it's just a movie about nothing. Like,
it felt like such a safe play.
That's
really it.
You can tell that it is. There was an original vision, and then they've just had to go with something. You know.
Do you know? I did a bit of reading about it. I became fascinated by it. So Eli Roth's obviously director, and he's known for like Hostel and stuff like that, which is obviously his films are renowned for being hyper violent, gory, and all that. Which is it was surprising when you walk out of it going that was really, you know, reserved in terms of that. Obviously, there's decisions above him, but he was inspired to make like this film effectively after seeing his dog go for a poo, and this is true. So it was acting shy as he was doing it, and that kind of little funny bit had became the claptrap scene where he was like shitting bolts,
which is like the only bit you missed.
Exactly.
Like, see, when you're talking about having to take your son to the toilet, you went to the toilet, and the only scene in that movie that was actually decent, there was like a gunfight set to Ace of Spades by Motorhead, and it's like that's good. It was like, you know, the scene in Guardians of the Galaxy 3 when the doors open and they absolutely kill everyone in that room. Like, it's kind of like that, not done as well, but it's good. Do you know what I mean? And then they have that bit with Claptrap as well, and it's like that was funny, but that's hilarious. I love looking at my dog when they shit. It's like they always look so guilty. They're almost like, what are you looking at, man?
Instead of making it was obviously that's what they've plastered in the trailers and the marketing, but it kind of feels like instead of kind of making a film that captured that essence, he's ended up making the poo. Yeah, you know, which is a shame. But I mean, it's factually it's now a box office disaster.
Good.
Like, so that it had a budget of around 110 million, and it's currently only made 10. So it's never near even breaking even.
Jesus Christ.
A total bomb.
Aye.
So it's there's other things in it as well. I mean, look, the cast, they've got a good cast. I mean, Cate Blanchett will carry that movie, even though she had agreed to do this film basically because she was getting cabin fever through COVID or something along the lines of that. So she thought it'd be good for her to kind of get out of the house because she was just too busy swinging a chainsaw about, apparently. So she carries it because obviously, I mean, she's floating it in a bit, but she's still carrying it. As you mentioned, Kevin Hart isn't annoying, which is an achievement in itself. That should be applauded because he's not funny.
He's not funny.
And then Jamie Lee Curtis, I mean, she's floating it in as well, but she's good. I mean, it's serviceable. Jack Black does his best with the material he's given, even though, as later came out, he wasn't on the set once. He just basically did it in the recording booth, and that was that. He's like, I'll see you at the premiere. The one thing that I found really bad about it, one of the big downvotes I'd say, was the costume design, which felt like cosplay.
Yeah.
And it was a shame because the set design and even like the digital set design, the green screen and that, because there's a lot of that in this, it was good, but there was something about like Cate Blanchett as Lilith and Tiny Tina as well. It was just kind of like, it looked like something you see at a convention.
Yeah.
It took you out of it a little bit. And it's a shame because they've not scrimped on this film at all.
There's something there. There's a Snyder cut somewhere that, you know, as Zack Snyder had made this movie, we'd be talking about that now.
God.
He's the only director on earth that
gets a second chance
to make movies. It's just like, shit on everything he makes because he's just the worst, like the worst ever. But it's I don't know. I don't know what more they could have done to make me enjoy it. That's the thing. Like, I am not the target audience for this because Borderlands is a game that I don't enjoy. I'd love to speak to Mr. Borderlands and be like, you're not though. You're really not.
I'm a Borderlands enjoyer.
But it's
I'm a psycho.
when was the last time you played Borderlands 3? Like what? 3 or 4 years ago or something like that?
Admittedly, I've played it this week. So
right, okay. So
it's
just it's I don't know. I just think that there's going to be people out there who their whole life is Borderlands. It's
you're right. I mean, the first one never grabbed me in the way I hoped it would. The second one, I remember I reviewed that game and I gave that a 9 out of 10. Like, I was totally blown away by it because I was like, all right, it's the concept's clicking, and Borderlands 2 is the highlight of the series, and 3, it does everything you mentioned a few moments ago, which is where the humour starts to feel really dated.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not hitting the same way, but still stand by it. It's a good ass game.
I mean,
like,
yeah,
if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah,
like,
I played it, and
game.
I played it, and it's a Borderlands game.
It's
more of the same, but it's just a game series that doesn't need a film.
No,
I think that's the issue with it, is that it doesn't need a movie. You're not telling a story that people need to know about, or it's the same thing as, what was it recently? There was a movie recently, or a game recently, where it's like, you don't have to tell that story. Tell a story within that universe or something. And like
the Fallout approach.
But it's just like, do that instead, because there's obviously something there, and they've got the world around it. Make that story the beginning of it. Like, you've got the beginning of the film where Kate Blanchett's talking about Pandora and talking about, make that whole movie, condense that into a 5-minute flashback where we see that happening.
Yep.
And that makes it a bit more digestible, because when you watch the, big spoiler here, but when you watch that big moment in the end where it's like,
I mean, if you play the games, you know what it is.
Every single person goes, oh, fucking hell. It's just like, it's coming. Even if you were never play the game, that's coming. But it's just condense that into the first 5 minutes, and that's the breakdown of the history, and then just make a story within that universe.
I couldn't agree more. And the thing as well, but we're going to dig into this, take a deep dive, but I'd be remiss if I didn't touch on Randy Pitchford as well, his reaction to this.
It was amazing. I read it today.
Unbelievable. I mean, obviously, right, so the 0% Rotten Tomato score is
incredible,
particularly harsh, but incredible. It's funny, but it also kind of feels like, right, this feels a bit targeted now, guys, because nothing is 0%. Like, nothing is 0%. I mean, I have watched some bad films in my time, admittedly, and I wouldn't give it a 0%. And I've seen Titanic, so it's one of those ones. Come at me. Come at me. Yeah.
What's wrong? Yeah. I'm sorry, stop for this. What's wrong with Titanic?
Oh, just a fucking bore. This was so boring.
But it's a good film, though.
Oh, it's ass. It really is. Like, everything about it is boring. It's too long. Just go back to making Terminator and Aliens, James Cameron. And it's just led him to make bloody Avatar. Anyway,
right, okay.
I digress. Sound like Taz. But so basically it got the 0% Rotten Tomato. Broke you with that one.
Wasn't expecting it.
0% Rotten Tomato score, of course. But he's come out and he's basically saying things like so what you're saying is, you like what my friends and I do with our Borderlands video games even more than you like what some of the biggest and best cast and crew of filmmakers on the planet have done. I'm super flattered. We're working extra hard for number 4 you on what's next, and everybody's picking up on that, and he's having a bit of a tiff with Forbes writer Paul Tassi, and big, just one of those ones where you see someone real time dig a hole for themselves and it's spectacular, because it's like, oh, just give up. Just give up, man, like, you've lost this. And obviously he's a bit of an unsavoury chap as well.
Yes, it doesn't help.
He's not going to magic away this criticism, but he'll try.
I love that. It's just it's the Elon Muskification of the internet. You know what I mean? Like, delusion. It's great. You love to see it.
Unbelievable.
I love that. It's
unbelievable.
It's like,
you've seen him as well tweeting that nonsense this week about bloody like the whole like you watch the Matrix and the side of the Resistance, blah blah blah. And this guy
it's
actually
Andrew
thinks,
Tate. It's Andrew Tate patter. Like it's
it
scary. And it's just reminded of something you told me before we came on. It was the dangers of the internet.
Oh yes.
Oh, it's so funny.
Yes, I mean if James is listening, a friend of the show, he'll know what we're talking about. We won't go into it because that was
It's great, man. It's so funny, but it's just, everyone reading it knows that it's stupid. Like
it is, and it's just one of those ones that it leads us on to the main topic for today's show, of course, which is video game movies, fix or forget. So we've talked about Borderlands there, and it's a big old pile of meh. It's not the worst, it's not the best.
Aye.
It's meh. Is the future of video games adaptations, does that lie on TV or a movie? I mean, should Hollywood just throw in the towel at this point?
Scrap it.
Or is there a way forward?
Jesus. I don't know. I really don't know, because
you should know.
I should know everything. I really should. For all intents and purposes, you mean...
What would you like to see?
What would I like to see? I don't want to see any video game adaptations on TV ever. Like, I think they're making a Death Stranding TV show. It's like,
good God,
like, or a film or whatever. It's like, why? It's already a fucking TV show. I see the point, because it does, seeing the success of Last of Us and Fallout, more recent history,
and Twisted Metal,
and I didn't watch it, so I don't want to give Samoa Joe's in it. That's all I know. But I've confused myself, because all I can hear is Samoa Joe's theme tune in my head.
Yep, you've done that now.
Right, no, it's with the success of Fallout and The Last of Us, it's opened up eyes to a wider audience. Like, my wife will literally watch The Last of Us TV show every night. Like, she loves it. She loves everything about it, but has no interest in the game. And that's fine. But that's the key point of it, is that you create that story. With Fallout, the stories are the friends that you make along the way. It's not always point A to point B. It's everything in between that make the Fallout story. So they made the right decision in not making it, the story of Fallout 4. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that.
Yeah.
So I think it is just finding the right story at the right time. Now, you could have made a successful Borderlands movie easily, but
in 2002, maybe.
Even if you were to make it now, though, it's just like make something that lives within that world. Like, we don't need to see retreading of the same shite. Same with the Mario movie, like the Super Mario, whatever it is. It's there's a thing there, but it's
Well, I was thinking about this long and hard today, right? Something like that. The silver screen is giving us some quality now. You mentioned Last of Us, Fallout, and I do think there's a reason behind that. Largely what you've said there, which is look at the game world as an opportunity to create a story. Fallout, the shining example, although we all know Fallout Series 2 is going to be a mess, because that's what Jonathan Nolan does. Gets your expectations right up with a great first season, then it starts to go to pot. I hope not. But if I think that Hollywood should forget making films about mature storytelling video games, and I think they should divert them to television and instead focus on the family market. Because the thing I've walked away from Borderlands is, who is this for? Who are they trying to chase? Because you're not chasing the middle everyone PG-13 market, like the Marvel like kind of formula that they're going for. I really do think that if they went with the family approach for movies, so we're going to start here, right? So if they went with the family approach, we've seen Mario and Sonic recently being two really good examples of making family-friendly films that, granted, they're not winning awards, right? They're probably like 6 out of 10s. To be fair, maybe the Sonic ones are better than the Mario films, to be fair. I would say, just because they're doing something they're letting people go off the leash. Like with Jim Carrey, take him out of that film and it's terrible, right? Absolutely terrible. But at least there's something magnetic about that performance. The Mario movie. I mean, you remember when in the lead up to that?
Yeah.
It was written off. It was like the Chris Pratt voice in Mario meme, and it was just like, oh my, Jack Black's Bowser, what? And then Peach's video goes viral. Nobody utters a word about Chris Pratt as Mario because, to be fair, he did a decent job. Even like, I actually found Charlie Day as Luigi more distracting in that film.
He's the best though.
But
it's really good.
It's just Charlie Day.
I know, but that's the point. It's good. You know that's good.
And they had kind of tweaked Peach's character to make her a bit more of a badass, which is good. And I know like that film was firmly made for kids.
Yeah.
And we both know like our kids will watch that film and still do it on repeat because it's opened up that gateway to Mario. And I think that's the purpose and market that it should serve, which is to get kids introduced into these video game worlds and IPs. I think if you're a studio, if you're a game studio, a Hollywood studio, it should be, this is what we're trying to do.
So does that mean that you only make
effectively glorified marketing?
But no, but it's that's not what I'm trying to say. Does that mean you only go for games with like mascots and stuff?
Yes.
So you make like a Crash Bandicoot TV show.
That's the one. Well, a movie. I think Crash would suit itself. Picture Illumination. Like we talked about Despicable Me 4. I think if you would take that approach with the Crash Bandicoot, we've got a few other ones I've listed here as well. So with this family approach, UPG rating type, right? Mario movie, Sonic mode, Crash Bandicoot.
Okay.
So just kind of take him fish out of water or something. I don't know how you do it.
Does he talk? Or does he just go, ow,
of course,
ow?
Of course he talks. Right?
Who voices Crash Bandicoot?
Of course it's Chris Pratt. It's either Chris Pratt or Jack Black. They're the only two people getting it just now. But we're talking about the tentpole family movie and the Happy Meal.
Right, okay.
That's what I'm looking at. So it's like Crash Bandicoot. Obviously, there's one that's in development. So we've got Minecraft. And see when that film comes out, it's going to explode with kids. Explode with kids.
I think it's going to it'll explode because Minecraft is popular already. But I'll
go on, mate. I'll go on.
Okay.
I thought you've got Sackboy with Sony. Somebody could make a film with that. Even things like Overcooked or Zelda or Oddworld, you could just try and lighten that up a bit. And then the one that I thought must be in the way, surely to God, is a Fortnite film. But surely to Christ,
I think they just make them themselves. I've said that before, though. It's you're stupid not to do it.
Exactly.
It is. It's just money, but it then just you basically just then make Ready Player One. You know what I mean? Like that's basically just the same movie, but with a Fortnite skin.
Yeah, a free guy.
Aye,
just the Fortnite skin. That's exactly it, though. It's like you cannot. It's so obvious. You can see the film, and it won't surprise you. It won't amaze you. But you take kids to go see that, and they'll want to watch it again and again and again.
Aye.
And the thing is, what you're trying to tap into there is something where you can just have a bit of fun with the mascot. So you're not stuck to a story. There might be certain beats, like they must fight the big bad villain, the Dr. Eggman, they have to be present, the Bowsers. There has to be these visual cues to check off. But it's like, right, you want to chase that kind of family everyman dollar, go for that. Instead, then, so I go, right, Scott, I've got a great film idea for you, right? I'm here from Konami. We're going to make Metal Gear Solid, and I want to make a 2-hour film with you, as we're talking about. It will fall on its ass, and I'll tell you why. Because the same way that when we're playing the video games, if those games were 2 hours long, I'm not attaching myself to the characters. I'm not becoming kind of engrossed in the world. And I walk away going, oh, that was just a bit take or leave it. I just played, thank goodness you're here last week. 2 hours long, fantastic. Couldn't tell you a bloody thing about any of the characters and stuff, but I can remember jokes because I remember saying last week, I'm going to review this almost like a movie. And I think TV works with these mature storytelling games. The Last of Us, and God of War, Horizon got cancelled, thank fuck. But we've got other ones that's coming up. But I think that's the way to go about it, because you have to give the audience the same time as you would in a game to grow attached to these characters. And I think it just lends itself better. And episodic storytelling will lend itself better to the whole point A to point B. We're going to adapt a story, or you can either adapt a world like you did with Fallout. So it's like The Last of Us, adapt a story or adapt the world, or just chase that cheap family dollar with, you know, mascot movies. But
yeah.
Otherwise, I don't really want to go to the cinema again to see. I'm trying to think of another IP off the top of our heads here that could work in a film. In fact, Uncharted was another one.
Yeah.
Right. I went to the cinema with my old man to see the Uncharted movie. Again, that was probably in the same category with Borderlands. It did have a little bit more redeeming factors, but it just felt flat. Again, like, you're squeezing too much into this. You're going through big beats. There's no time to develop your story arc. There's no time to grow attached to the characters. If that was a TV show, and you could almost have the kind of MacGuffin of the week with an Uncharted sense, like, oh, we found the magic scepter, now we have to go find the magic box and all that type of crap that comes in it.
It's just,
and it crescendos to something.
Yeah, I
Does that make sense?
I see what you mean, but the rebuttal that I'll make in it, if we look at the Mario movie in that same lens, neither of us have ever seen or heard or played Mario ever. Right?
Wait.
No. Just like this. This is the world we live in, right? We've both grown up in the Bermuda Triangle, and we've never watched Mario. We're Tom Hanks in Castaway. We've come off that rock with Wilson, or not with Wilson. And you know, the first film we go and see is a Mario movie because we love cartoons. You're telling me that the hour and a half you watch that movie isn't enough for you to enjoy the character of Mario? Do you know what I mean? Like, to become engrossed in that world, because it doesn't tell you anything about Mario at all. You just kind of figure it out as you go along. Like, it kind of just that film, it does a really good job with it, but why are there toads? Why are there walking, talking toads? Where have they come from? Like, why is Bowser? Do you know what I mean? It's just kind of put on you because you're just expected to know who they are at a certain point.
I totally know what you mean, but I mean, it works for Disney.
And that's the thing, though. That's the thing. It works for every film. Then, so with a Metal Gear Solid movie, if you got George Miller to make it, right? Obviously, I think it'd be class. It'd be really cool. Like, it's just.
Did you like the Mad Max films?
Aye, of course.
Okay.
But it's just like, if you got him to make it, because like, if you've watched Furiosa, like, it's not, you know bits and pieces, but it's just like you're figuring it out as you go along, and that's sometimes a good part of the story. With the Metal Gear Solid game, it's like with the Metal Gear Solid movie, it's like you're learning it as you go along. It's like anything. So I get the point, but I also think that there's something there. It's just telling the right story and having the right characters and stuff. Like, I'm trying to think, like Uncharted, you could have made an excellent movie with Uncharted because the characters are there. It doesn't have to be the same play as the game, you know. It can be any story. But you put Mark Wahlberg in that movie and it's dead already.
That was the worst thing about
it's just,
it.
You put
unfaithful to the character.
It's just like, it doesn't make sense. Tom Holland, fair enough, but it's just like, put Mark Wahlberg in any movie, and it's like, I'm trying to think of one good Mark Wahlberg movie. Pain and Gain, maybe. I
have to admit though, that new film that he's in,
the one with the plane
that Mel Gibson's directing, that they omitted entirely from the marketing of that trailer, which I found hilarious for rightful reasons. But it's like, Mark Wahlberg does look good in that film.
But you know he won't be. Like,
I know.
It's just he's good in Pain and Gain, and I like that. But I just think that it's all about casting and stuff like that.
That's the
story and the story that you tell. And these movies now, it's not like the Borderlands movie didn't have unknown actor A, B, C, D. It wasn't just made by random folk. It was big names.
One of the best casts you'll see in an adaptation.
It was just this story. Like, you could have told a story that made more sense and it was more interesting. And people might think and go, like, it's maybe not the best movie that I've ever watched, but it had a decent story and a brilliant cast.
Yeah,
it's like
chuck a twist in there. Chuck a shot.
Throw anything in there. It's just, There's definitely. I keep on punching my microphone because I'm so angry. But there's
really liked
definitely
this film.
there's definitely a market for video game movies. I like the idea, and I think you're stupid if you're not going down the route of throw money at the kids. You know, like a Crash Bandicoot movie is there's a whole line of characters.
That's money waiting to happen.
But
you know what I mean?
Xbox are now in charge of that whole pish. So like,
I know.
It's goosed.
Hollywood hires. Not everyone will be good. But look at the Halo TV show. It was a disaster.
I want Gex,
Spyro.
I want all the same jokes from Gex as well. I want Croc. I want Cool Spot.
Yeah.
Make a Cool Spot game and make it now. Richard Branson. Make me a movie about the best Blizzard game ever made.
Wow.
The Lost Vikings. Make it.
Yeah.
But they did make a WoW movie.
They did. Warcraft.
And was it good?
Do you know, it wasn't bad. It was. I'm going to be fair to it. It wasn't bad. It could have been better. Wasn't bad. Did the business in China.
Yeah.
I have to say. But I'm looking at it now, which I didn't realise this is mental. Talk about chasing that dollar, right? The Super Mario Brothers movie is the 4th highest grossing animated movie of all time. It made $1.36 billion.
It was enormous.
That's grossed more than any Toy Story movie. That is mental.
Makes sense.
The only ones above it are Frozen 2,
Yep,
Inside Out 2, and
Inside Out 2.
Yep, that's done the business
Aye.
this year. Yep, and The Lion King 2019.
What, the remake?
Yep,
Fuck off.
1.6.
Sorry, like
billion.
pure
Yep.
shite.
But then,
Did you see the trailer for the Mufasa film?
oh god, it was dreadful.
Oh, he's the worst.
Absolutely dreadful. I mean, I'm not. We're going down a different path here,
No.
but I mean,
Take me down it. I just don't see the point in it. But this is the thing with Hollywood and anything. They just make everything. It's fine. Make a movie about, Mufasa. Like we don't need it. I don't need it.
it's just becoming safe bets. I mean, listen, I am not, Will Gompertz on BBC, sitting casting a scrutiny eye on these things. I'm very much your daft cinema goer. I enjoy a popcorn film.
Yeah.
I'll go watch a Transformers movie and just be like, yep, there's big robots, that's cool. I'm not expecting Academy Awards. That's not to say, if it's good, it's good, it's bad, it's bad.
Yeah, it can be.
But it's one of those ones as well. It feels like all these big entertainment industries are increasingly taking safer bets.
Yeah.
So the music industry has pretty much zero creativity in it now. It's all chasing TikTok virality. Hollywood remakes and shared universes, although the shared universe trend does seem to die off a bit now because they've kind of got a little bit spooked since Marvel struggled for a bit. And then you've got even video games, remakes and remasters, although I feel like that's almost earned a little bit now because the technologies came so much further on.
Yeah, it makes sense. Aye.
You can see a big difference and feel a difference in that. Whereas with a movie, I mean, how much more special effects can we really chuck in to make a big difference now? So yeah, it's one of those ones like we're going to. I don't know what the next big.
That's what I was going to say to you, because obviously there's stuff in the pipeline, like there's movies and stuff that they're going to make. Do you think that? Because I don't know the insides of how many people or how much of like who's involved in it. You obviously know that with The Last of Us, Neil Druckmann has had his hands on that the whole time.
Yeah, which
like,
helps.
Listen to the podcast with him and when we're making it and stuff, and it's like it's really interesting because they want to be really faithful and he's there every step of the way. I don't know with Fallout how much who was kind of had the hands in that, but you'd like to think that if they were making a Metal Gear Solid game, that you would kind of expect that Hideo Kojima, renowned film watcher, loves Shaun the Sheep and the Paddington movies for some reason, but
excellent.
They are excellent movies,
Excellent
but
films.
it's his favourite movie. It's just you would expect that his hands would be all over that, but they won't be. Like,
I mean, I'm looking at a list just now of some projects that's in the works.
Right, hit me with them.
I'm not going to go through them all, right? There's ones with dates. So you got Sonic 3,
okay,
which is coming out, Shadow the Hedgehog. That's coming out in December 20th.
We're
so
here
that's
for it.
going to be good. And obviously Jim Carrey's back, so I'm there. You've got the Minecraft movie next year, April. Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Forgot about that.
That actually did do really well.
Yeah, it did. The Super Mario Brothers movie 2.
Yes.
They changed that title. April 3rd, 2026.
Why?
Just because it's a mouthful. Just call it Mario 2 or something. Anyhow, there's that. So that's the ones with the date on it. Outside of that as well, we know there's no quantity. So there's a Tomb Raider: The Legend of Lara Croft coming this year. It's an animated show. There's Like a Dragon Yakuza coming October 25th.
Did you see the story about that they've said that none of the people that are on it have played the games?
My God.
So they're doing their own thing with it,
like
so it's just like,
Dragon
it's
Ball,
just going to be
isn't it?
pure shite. Aye.
It's about a Dragon Ball movie.
I was thinking about it as well, like the Resident Evil movies as well. Like,
oh Jesus. Hello, bottom of the barrel. So you've got Arcane Season 2,
Yes.
which is coming up. That was a huge hit.
a massive hit, aye.
Last of Us Season 2, 2025. There's ones that's TBA, so we know we've got The Witcher Season 4 on the way. There's a God of War series in the works. The Horizon one did get scrapped, I believe, as well. There's a Gears of War project that's forever been in there. There's a Devil May Cry anime apparently in the works.
That's supposed to be cool.
Twisted Metal's getting another series. They're doing another project around Assassin's Creed. That film was terrible. Doing one in Splinter Cell. Apparently there's one coming as well for...
Why are they making a bloody Splinter Cell movie but not a fucking game?
I know.
Give me more Sam Fisher.
They're also
I have
making-
gone down a fucking Splinter Cell rabbit hole this week.
Really?
I've been watching so many people play those games. It's perfect.
It really is.
It's just
fantastic.
just give me it. I'd honestly, I'd give anything.
Consummate espionage, of course. What else have we got here? There's a Castlevania Nocturne Series 2 is
Fucking
coming.
Castlevania as well, man. Jeez, oh.
Mass Effect is a project. There's a Disco Elysium project.
Ah,
Wake,
good.
System Shock, Grounded, Life is Strange, My Friend Pedro, Skull and Bones is getting a project. Wow. Yeah,
Probably in development for the next 15 years.
I thought that ship had sailed. And, there we go. Not about the dad jokes. There's also rumoured ones around. I've broken, ladies and gentlemen. I've broken. This is it. Mission accomplished. Until Dawn. Mortal Kombat 2 is actually coming. We know that's
good,
in
yes.
production. You mentioned Death Stranding. There's loads. Detective Pikachu 2, apparently. I thought that wasn't going to happen, though. I'm just getting this information from IGN. So there's a big list there that you can see. There's lots of like status unknowns. There's ones that have been announced and maybe not went further, but there's lots of IP in there. You're like, yeah, I could see that translate, but we know in the heart of hearts that they're either going to streamline the script or bastardize the IP to the point where it's just not faithful. And even the reason to be faithful is not so that we can start being like, oh, they've changed that card, I don't like it. It's more that it was good.
Yeah. I think
if it's not broke, don't fix it.
That's what I was going to say. I think sometimes that it's bad from the standpoint of the people who are pouring all their money into these projects and stuff, but sometimes having a terrible movie made about a game makes that game look better. Do you know what I mean?
True.
Like, if you make a terrible movie about the Borderlands, maybe that makes maybe Randy Pitchford is right. Maybe he's like,
I downloaded the game this week.
Maybe the Borderlands games were actually masterpieces and we just never knew.
In comparison to the film,
it's just there's definitely something in it because it's storytelling, but I think you do sometimes rely on people knowing more about the story, and that's obviously sort of part of what you do with it. But just make a Gex movie, and
we just want better quality. Like it feels again that on the movie front, it feels like television's starting to be the place where there's almost a little bit of a golden age happening here for adaptations, but movies are still making those same mistakes. Where it is, I've said that to you when we came out of the cinema. That felt like the most 2002 ass film I've seen in some time.
And see if you were watching it in 2002, you'd be like, that was pretty cool. That was amazing. Like, it's just, I said it in my breakdown of it, and that it was Borderlands felt that it was written by AI, like it was made by AI. Like, but I don't know. there's a world out there for video game movies, and I think that we need them because it does open it up. And
It's deflated them. I
that's
think
just you mentioned Splinter Cell, and it's broken my heart. I'm like, oh.
Well, of course, I think we should move on then. I think we should move on and start repairing your heart. So that means, of course, that it's time for the Pixel Picks Showdown, where each week we each pick a game from our chosen theme and decide which one deserves to live on in the hallowed Pixel Picks list, which is our definitive list of the best games we recommend to pass on to the next generation of gamers. So last week's theme was survival horror, with Resident Evil 2 Remake becoming the latest addition to the list. And this week's showdown, we're going to be debating what best Xbox 360 game we think should feature on the Pixel Picks list. It's time for another special.
I'd like to make a point here. Mm-hmm. I've made this point before, but anytime I win, the next choice is like slam dunk Liam pick.
How dare, sir?
It's fixed.
I was going to go easy on you this week as well. Honestly, I was like, maybe I'll make my honourable mention my pick, and I'm not going to do that now.
Oh God, do it.
This was Xbox 360 though. I mean, again, I like it. I like it when we do these console specific,
it's cool.
Special entries. I think I should also add last week's winner goes last, so you're going second. I'll go first. I'll kick things off. What a catalogue! I mean, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago when we did our kind of eulogy to the Xbox 360, and something that made that console great was it did have some really outstanding exclusives.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking through the list, and the first thing I thought is, as usual, should I be a smart ass? It's like, I'm going to pick BioShock and Mass Effect, but I can't because they went multi-platform. We did say we want something that was strictly
an
Xbox 360 exclusive.
I think when you mentioned it, that's because I had to ask you today. It's like, are we just going exclusive? Because the Xbox 360 it's kind of like, you know, the PlayStation 4 at that point where it became de facto console where I was playing everything.
Yeah.
So it's like every game that I bought in that era was on the 360. So it's having to think about games that were, you know, exclusive to that console that... Aye.
So the nice creak.
That's just my knees.
I think I do have my honourable mention. I've got one that I need to touch on. So it's like an additional one, which is rare for me. Rare. But I have to mention it, and I'm not picking it on purpose because I feel like it's just too predictable.
Is it rare? It's from Rare?
No, it's Viva Pinata. No, it's Halo 3 is going to be one of my honourable mentions because that did feel like one of the quintessential games on the 360. A landmark moment. It really was. Like Return of the King. I had everything. You know, you've got this epic campaign, the multiplayer. I just feel like time stood still in a good way. Like you had nothing else to worry about, just enjoying that with your friends. And countless hours lost to that game, and I remember people that I know buying consoles just to get on it, and that happened a few times with 360 games. Like people were like, I need to play this, and they go buy a console. A very special game, but I'd be remiss if I didn't at least reference it because that could win in its own right. I would not be unhappy about that. For me, my true honourable mention this week though is actually a game that I played because of Halo 3 hype. Okay, it was a game I remember buying just to get on the Halo 3 beta, and that's Crackdown, the original Crackdown. And it's one of those ones where the later entries in that series have tainted this game's legacy. Yeah. Because that first Crackdown, what a game.
It was amazing.
Came out of absolutely nowhere. It was special. It was one of the best genuine surprises I think I've had playing a video game where I remember I was in Asda, of all places. I was like, I'm going to pick this up just to get on the beta, and if the game's good, cool. If not, then bugger it, I'll just get in the beta. So I was effectively paying the money just to get on the beta. And it was absolutely fantastic. I mean, that power fantasy loop of building up your agent, just kind of hunting down the certain orbs. So if you wanted to be better at melee combat, start kicking lumps or the agility orbs.
I'll say it here because, you know, it has to be said, but that's my honourable mention as well.
Really?
It's Crackdown because it's phenomenal, man. Like, I had no interest in buying that game, and I didn't play it when it first came out. I played it with you when I first played it, and playing it together was hilarious. Like picking up cars and stuff like that.
Yes.
And just jumping about that map. It was phenomenal. The traversal and stuff like that. But you know what I never really think about is just the way the game plays. Like your objective in it. It was cool. Like, you could go about it any way you wanted to.
Yep. It was
amazing.
liberating.
And it's a game that still sits on my Xbox library right now.
Yes.
It still sits there.
I might actually go back and play it now because I'm like, it could scratch that itch. But yeah, I love the fact that very rarely you'd seen it up to that point. I know like Breath of the Wild got a lot of praise for that. Like, yeah, you can go take on like main boss straight away if you want to. If you go, you'd be stupid to. But in this one, it was the same. It's like if you take out all the different like gang leaders, you're weakening them, which was really cool. You're like,
it felt cool.
Yeah,
like the characters all had like their own wee personalities and stuff as well. It was excellent. Like,
yeah, and I know like the game world might be a little bit dead by today's standards and stuff, but it still kept you so engaged because it's like, I'll put this down. If I'll shoot these baddies over here so that I can get my weapon skills up, or actually there's some mobs, or can I reach that one yet? And you know, you're constantly going in. The fact that your agent actually changes in appearance. As well as you're going, like if your agility is better, you start to your strength is better, you start to buff out and all that. What a game, man! Like, and it's a shame because I bought and played Crackdown 2 a couple of years later on release, and it was the same game again, but it didn't do enough to really capture the magic.
Yeah,
and they introduced when it was back in that era where it's like, let's just chuck some zombie type things in it, and it's like, this is crap.
Aye, I never played Crackdown 2.
It wasn't great, but
then
Crackdown 3. And do you know what? I did find something to enjoy in it, but I put it down after about 10 hours.
Teddy Crews can only save something, you know.
Aye. I actually was tempted to kind of go back off the back of thinking about it this week. So I'm like, should I just give it another go? I might still just, again, I like to go back to dead games.
That's you, aye. That's your thing.
But my pick this week, suspect we may actually have a doubler here as well. And it should also, we have no idea what we've picked before we go in here, but my pick this week has to be Gears of War.
Right, and then we'll just put it out there. It's the same. I'm the exact same.
Right, let's gush about it. So I'm going to tell you why though, then you can tell me why. So I mean, this one really felt like a game changer. You know, from the first trailer, the iconic Mad World trailer as well. I remember the first time seeing it though, from the footage and magazines from E3. It's like, how can a game look like this? And then you would kind of see the odd clip about it, and it became like, mate, you should see this game that's coming out. I remember telling my next door neighbour at the time about it. And
old lady next door.
That's it. Hey, Agnes, who did you see this? You know, but the cinematic approach, it finally felt realised.
Yeah,
which was just unbelievable. That release was unbelievable, and then the cover-based shooting just working so well within a tentpole release like that. Obviously, it'd been inspired by other games, but it just felt so refreshing at the time, and it was a game that really did sell you on the vision of the 360. For the first time, it was like, oh, right, this is HD gaming.
Yeah.
Right, I get it now, and it actually encouraged me to then save up and buy a HD telly, which would have been 2 years after the game came out at that point. But that was one of the first games I remember rushing out to play after I got my telly, and it was those stupid like component cables as well.
God,
it's a nightmare. But everything about it just had. I mean, one of the things I loved the most about it was you talk about selling you on a world and getting introduced to Sarah, and then that whole kind of creepy horror vibe of it all. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And to the point where they're trying to recapture that now with D-Day, and I'm so happy they are.
Yeah.
And then playing that through in co-op as well.
That's the big part of it. Yeah.
Oh, man alive.
It's incredible.
What a game.
It's just an experience. Like, I think it is, you know, the purpose we have for doing this whole list is games that, you know, we would pass down.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think it's, you know, it's obviously dated now, but if you were to think about it at that time and you know, playing it at that time, it is necessary to play it. It's a complete 10 out of 10. Like, everything about it. Even just thinking about it, you know, it's just, I have so many memories of just like actually playing it. It's not it's all the daft wee things like coming home drunk from a night out one night and playing it with you. It's
Yep.
just like, I regret every moment of this, but it's phenomenal. And it is just pick up and play. But it's the characters, like, they all have their own personalities and motivations and stuff. And Marcus Phoenix is it's
badass.
just, it's, you'd be hard pressed to think of any other character associated with Xbox that's not, Master Chief. But de facto number 2 is just, it's Marcus Phoenix. It has to be.
Oh yeah.
It's just, if you could do like a Family Fortunes episode and say, name me one character from the 360 era, I'd say, I'd probably say more people would pick Marcus Phoenix than Master Chief.
Yeah,
because I don't really think of, I'm not a big Halo fan, but I don't really think of Halo as the 360 game.
No, yeah, that's why I've picked it. Yeah, because it's like Gears of War just felt that was the thing that really, I think, tipped the balance. Like, if you take that out of that release schedule,
that's what I'm going to say.
If 360 would probably still end up being, king of that generation, because the PS3 didn't get off to the best of starts and it was more expensive and stuff. But it felt, if you take that out of the release schedule and the lead up to it, there wasn't too much things there. They'll be playing Peter Jackson's King Kong, official game of the movie. But
it's cool though, isn't it? Killing dinosaurs and stuff.
It's actually a really good movie. Games film. But outside of that, I remember just like, really, because I was still in high school when that game when they came out, and playing that for the first time and then getting the wireless adapter. I remember I'd got that for Christmas that year, which is ludicrous to think about now. You need an adapter, but playing it online to get my ass handed to, but still, you just wanted to immerse yourself in that world. And I got the collector's edition of it, or the limited edition, so you got like the book with like the concept art, and I was like, I need to know more about it. And one of the few games at the time I remember playing on hardest difficulty, like beating General Ram on Insane back then.
It's disgusting.
Was unbelievable. Like, what a rush. And the amount of hours would I put into that game to do so. Oh man. And then to the point, I remember like the hype continued into Gears of War 2 3 years later.
Yeah.
Going to a midnight release for that. Being so jealous, seeing the people picking up the limited edition with the Chainsaw Lancer replica. And it's like, oh, they look like idiots. I'm so jealous. Like, so jealous right now. And yeah, I mean, even like it still continued to me, and it's a series I've still hold near and dear to my heart, like all the way up to like Gears of War 3, which came out at a different time of year. I think it came out towards the tail end of summer. It felt a bit different. And I still went through, I mean, I remember by that point, a few years later, I was doing the games journalism part of it, and I reviewed Gears of War Judgment, which I knew wasn't great, but it all comes back to that first one.
Yeah.
Like that's just the torchbearer. Like, everything, and even some would maybe argue, yes, Gears of War 2 might be a better game.
Yeah.
But Gears of War 1 was so impactful. Like, I personally prefer it, which is why I need to pick it. But it's like, I do think that's the thing. If you say Xbox 360,
it's Gears of War. It's the first thing. Aye. Yeah. It's the minute it became the exclusive, it's the only thing I could think of.
Yeah.
That and Crackdown, because it was just the experience that I had with it. And the impact that it's made. I mean, the fact that we're thinking about, a new Gears of War game coming that is set around that exact same time. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, aye. Do you know what I mean? There's a reason why we want that, and it isn't because it's a new Gears of War game. It's because it's fucking Marcus in it again, properly.
There's a reason we all went bananas for it.
It's just like, fire it into me, man. And it's not just like dude bros. Like, it's not just about that. It does tell a story, and it's emotional, and it's cool. Like, it's just, it's complete necessary games. Like, I would put that on a list above this list. Like, it's a game that you have to play. Like, games that you have to play before you die. Gears of War is one of them.
Absolutely.
It's just, it's a total experience.
Yeah.
And it was the only game I could think of.
Yeah, with good reasons. I mean, congratulations to Gears of War. You are the next entrant on the Pixel Picks list, and next week we'll have another console special. Which one? That remains to be seen. But tune in next week and you'll find out.
The Nintendo Wii.
Nintendo Wii, oh dear God. No, maybe going a bit further back than that next week, we'll see.
What does that mean? Who wins?
It's a tie.
A tie?
It's a tie, which means, you're naturally going to hand me the win, that's fine. So I'd recommend it. No, it's a coin. I don't
have a coin.
It doesn't have a coin.
I never have a coin on me.
Ooh.
Wait a minute, I'll get my phone out and I'll do it. But what I would like to say is I didn't just think about, shooters and games like that. I did also think of, because there was a game for the 360 that I bought on the digital store on my Xbox Series X.
Oh, is it Hexic 2?
It isn't.
Damn it, because that was some game, by the way.
No, it wasn't that. It was Lost Odyssey. I mentioned it a few weeks back.
Yes,
the RPG.
yes.
I wouldn't say it's my favourite Xbox 360 game, and I don't think I could make an argument above Gears of War, but I want it to be out there that game is good.
Yeah.
It's very good.
It was, what a console, though. I mean,
Aye.
It was an absolute king's ransom. It just felt like there was always something to play on it, and pales in comparison. Like, I feel like since the Xbox One era, I don't know what it is. Like, you get all the multi-platform stuff, but you need the exclusives in the mix as well, which is why it's...
And they're always chasing that. Like, I think I said this before, but how often do we have game one of a game that then leads on to, 6 or 7 others in that same series? It's just, we don't see that anymore. And for it to do that at that time where, this is a brand new console, like an excellent brand new game. It's just like it hit well. So they obviously did a phenomenal job. Yeah. Right, pick heads or tails?
Yeah, I'm a tails man, so let's go for tails.
Right, I'm Sonic then. Tails, so you
tails,
win then.
There we go.
Fantastic.
The fortune favours the bold. So that brings us to the end of another podcast, Scott. So again, thank you once again for everyone joining us. And if you like what you hear and enjoyed the podcast, leave us a wee 5-star review. Tell your friends, it helps us out. Makes a big difference. We really appreciate that. And of course, it's test time, Scott. So where can people find you online?
Lavaman91 on X.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? Aye.
That is correct.
On the old X. Just because I don't want Elon coming after me.
I know. I'm now actively going out my way to try and get him to take the bait. I'm just criticising that space clown every day. And if you want to see me criticise that space clown, then you can follow me at Camelite on X, where I'm seriously considering coming off the damn thing because I can't stand him. But
how are you going to accept kind of people refuting your hatred for Titanic?
Come at me.
And also you saying that music is...
So they can get in the sea. There we go. Yeah, there's another one. So,
and you're saying that music's not creative anymore. Does that mean that you hate Taylor Swift?
I don't hate Taylor Swift, no. I think she's definitely got a few bangers in that collection for sure. It's not hit me to the same level, but I'm comparing that to some real greats out there. Like, I'm not going to be compared. Like, is Taylor Swift on the same kind of pedestal as a Stevie Wonder or Beatles or something? No, of course not. Like, it's not that. But I do accept the fact that she writes music that people can connect with now, which is a damn sight better than what a lot of other people are putting out there, because it's not, in the club, air horn, all that stuff. I sound like such an old granda now, but there has to be something. And the one thing that I do like about Taylor Swift the most is just how it lights up, like, the kids, in particular.
It's a community. It's I see this is veering off into a tangent that I didn't really want it to go down, right? But I took my daughter for a haircut today, and her hairdresser was talking to her about Taylor Swift. Now, my daughter's 4. Never listened to a Taylor Swift song in her life, but our cousin's been talking to her about her, so now she's keen on it, right? I was watching all this stuff, and I've been obviously like watching the tour and all that in the UK. Has she ever toured in the UK? Because it seems like she's never been here the way that people are going on about it. And like,
I don't think she's been here for a while. I don't think she toured to the same extent. But
literally dropped a bomb on this place. Like, it was wild.
An earthquake.
You know
what I mean?
It's just, but what I was thinking of is, like, obviously black and white pictures back in the day show us that people were literally fainting at the sight of Elvis Presley. And we were like, and everyone's like, that is how good he was. But we see the same things happening at a Taylor Swift concert, and we're like, that's stupid. This is ridiculous. Like, why can we not just accept that she's good at what she does and have that community? It's good. It's great for people. Like, people, it's nice to be accepted in some place like that. Now, I might, and I'm sorry, Alex, if you are listening to this, but I don't, I'll say myself, I don't like her music. I don't like it, and it's not for me, though. You know what I mean? Like, she does have songs out there that I'll tap my toe to, but I don't go out my way on Spotify to be like, I'm going to listen to Taylor Swift today.
Yeah.
But it's like me saying, you know, I'll listen to Megadeth. People hate Dave Mustaine, and people won't listen to him, but it's just a different genre. But I was just, it's community, and that's the main thing of it, is that all the fans, the Swifties and stuff like that, with their bracelets and their mad stuff, it's just, it's beautiful to watch.
She does feel like she has a lot more longevity and community, and a different type of superstar.
It's wild.
The thing that always got me, this is like a little bonus segment at the end here. The thing that always got me, because obviously I would say I'm a musician myself, played in bands, write songs, all the rest of it. And it's one of those, that sounds such a douche thing to say, but it's true. I come from, like, I've got musical bones in me, you know, and I always remember I knew the music industry felt a little bit sterile and done when it was on the repeat cycle of Adele, Ed Sheeran, you know, rinse and repeat. And it was just like, that was the only 2 albums that really came out.
Yeah.
But when Taylor Swift albums come out, it doesn't feel that way. It's like she's redoing albums and people are going absolutely nuts for them. And it's like, that doesn't happen often. Like, she's on a different, like, echelon just now, compared to the rest. And, you know, fair play to her. I mean, like you said, sometimes, you know, music's a really subjective art form, and it's not going to be for everybody. And like you says, I like metal, but I also was listening to everything a lot today, you know, so I'm like, okay, I'll just kind of dive bomb into that. And then tomorrow I could end up going back to listen to some funk or something like that, the usuals. But yeah, Alex, go gentle on him. That's all I'm asking. But that, of course, wraps up the show for this week, and we'll catch you again next week. But until next time, stay safe, stay sane, and thanks for listening.